There's a new boom happening right now in the social media landscape, the drop-in audio experience. By now, you may have heard of this app called Clubhouse, and if not, that's okay, I'm gonna take you through it. This video focuses on Clubhouse and a new product from Twitter called Spaces, which is effectively a copy of Clubhouse. I think the more exciting product here is Twitter Spaces, and we're gonna get into them. Clubhouse is an iPhone app that is invite only right now. You can think of it as Zoom without video, or a Discord call, or a Skype audio call, or talk radio, or a Mumble server, or TeamSpeak. You get the idea. When you open Clubhouse, you see a list of active rooms that you can jump right into. When you enter a room, you'll immediately hear people speaking. The gray bubble around the profile avatars indicates that someone's talking. The room has a stage where the moderators, the speakers, and the hosts are. The participants in the room are divided into these sort of categories. When I scroll, I'll see a mutual section and then everyone else in the room. I can tap on anyone's profile to see who they are. I can tap the hand icon, which notifies the speakers that I want to come on the stage and speak. You can press the plus icon to invite friends into that room. And yes, you can minimize the app and even lock your phone and you'll still hear the conversation. Where Clubhouse feels robust is in its programming and discovery. Up top in the feed, or hallway as I've heard it been referred to by Josh Konstein, is a calendar icon. It's a curated list of upcoming events that Clubhouse thinks that I'd be interested in based on who I'm following. You can also create your own event and alert your followers that you'll be hosting a room. If you slide the feed or hallway to the left, you'll see a list of your friends that are available to chat. And then up top, the magnifying glass is an explore page, where you'll find suggested follows as well as topics or categories. And then front and center, that giant green button is where you can start your own room. Clubhouse as a standalone app feels really well designed and polished. They've thought through a lot in terms of functionality and discoverability. It's even attracted the likes of Elon Musk, who spoke in a Clubhouse room, as well as Mark Zuckerberg, who is reportedly building his own version of Clubhouse, but for Facebook. I think Clubhouse is having a moment right now because they were the first to build and ship a product like this, and it's invite only, which drives a sense of FOMO. And it makes the whole thing feel like an exclusive club. Pun intended. I don't think it would have the same appeal if it was open to everyone right out the gate. Personally, I don't spend that much time on Clubhouse because A, I have my notifications turned off, and B, it just feels kind of sweaty. Feels like a lot of people on there are trying to network, to trying to link and build, to grind, to hustle, that sort of thing. Just take a look at the names of some of these rooms. And it feels like every profile I click on is a LinkedIn profile with a laundry list of accolades and accomplishments, oversaturated with emoji. To me, right now, it feels like this app is for tryhards. I don't know, maybe I'm just being cynical. There are definitely cool conversations happening on there, don't get me wrong, but I prefer Twitter Spaces. Twitter Spaces is a Clubhouse clone built right into the Twitter app. It's currently in beta right now, only accessible via Twitter for iPhone. So no, not on Android and not on the iPad app and not on desktop. In the last few weeks, I've been in a handful of spaces and hosted like 3 or 4 of them, and I am really enjoying it so far. I like Twitter Spaces because it feels like there's a lot less pressure when hanging out in a Twitter space in comparison to Clubhouse. When I'm perusing Clubhouse, I feel like I need to be wearing a suit and tie with my business thinking cap on, whereas in Twitter Spaces, I feel like I'm hanging out with my friends in a very casual setting. I can start a Twitter space by long pressing the compose tweet button and clicking the spaces icon. As a host, before the space starts, I have the option to adjust the speaker settings. Once the space is active, the only way to get there is if you see it in the fleets bar up top, or if someone tweets it out and you tap it from there. As you can see, it looks identical to Clubhouse, but it's a stripped down version. Again, it's in beta. For one, you can't rename a space. It just defaults to display name plus space. So this one's called Sam Sheffer's Space. I can tap on anyone's profile bubble to add or remove them as a speaker or instantly block them. The heart icon has 6 reaction emoji underneath. I'd hope to see a longer list, or maybe Twitter can get creative with animations. Like during certain events, if you put a hashtag in your tweet and then you click the like button, it does a cool animation. I think there's a lot of room for Twitter to have fun here. Right now, there can be up to 11 speakers in a Twitter space, the host plus 10 speakers. And there's no limit to how many people can be in a Twitter space. Right now, it seems like Clubhouse has no limit for speakers, but they cap rooms at 5,000. There's a section up top where the host or any of the speakers can pin a tweet, which kind of feels like using those overhead projectors back in high school, but oddly enough, as a host, I cannot remove those pinned tweets. And if you join the space after tweets have been pinned, you don't see them. I think that's just a bug, but we'll see. I think it would be cool if Twitter implemented a text chat for the listeners. I know that when I'm listening to a conversation in Clubhouse or in Twitter Spaces, I want to be able to text chat with the other people that are in the space. If I'm not speaking, I can't really do much, just listen. I don't think it should be a permanently fixed thing. I think the host should be able to activate it, have it live for a few minutes, and then remove it. Josh Konstein, a former TechCrunch reporter that I mentioned earlier in the video, built his own version called Konstein Club. And when he's in a Clubhouse, he encourages the listeners to go to that website and chat live. So I'm not the only person who has thought this is a good idea, and people seem to like it. As a host, I do have a few moderation tools, and I've heard they're building out more functionality. Right now, I can do things like manage the speaker list, and of course, end the room at a moment's notice. Going back to the pinned tweets thing and the chat, I just think Twitter can do a lot more with the real estate of the drawer or sheet that is Twitter Spaces right now. And they've probably thought of a lot more. They're just keeping it simple because it's in beta right now. I do want to point out that Twitter kind of leveled the playing field in terms of vanity in spaces. You don't immediately see someone's follower count unless you go into their profile. And that's by design. I find Twitter Spaces more enjoyable than Clubhouse because I already spend a lot of time in Twitter. And having this ephemeral drop-in audio functionality built into the app feels awesome. I think the beauty of both Twitter Spaces and Clubhouse lies in the fact that these conversations are happening in real time, live, and it feels special to catch them while they're happening. I've heard people say they want to incorporate video into Twitter Spaces and Clubhouse, or be able to record or clip audio bites. And while those ideas can be good, I think the way these apps are designed, audio first and audio only, is good for now. I think once Twitter Spaces rolls out further, Kayvon says that Twitter Spaces will be out in the first half of the year. A lot of those conversations that are happening on Clubhouse will move to Twitter, because I'm willing to bet that a lot of people that are using Clubhouse right now are already on Twitter, you know? Remember when Instagram first introduced stories? How many of your friends ditched Snapchat because Instagram had stories and now everything was in one place? Anyway, I think competition is a good thing, and I'm excited to see where this early iteration of vocal media goes. For now, you can catch me on Twitter Spaces and Clubhouse. I'm at Sam Sheffer on both. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like this, there's a big red subscribe button that you can click. Thank you for watching.